possible that Rumble just completely sneaks through this draft. Instead, it's comfort picks of the Ziggs, the Draven, the Jax being banned away.
And Skarner has slipped through the cracks as well. It is something that QingTian has been falling into a lot lately. However, with the Rumble being open in the pool, I feel like it becomes a little bit dangerous playing a tag into the Rumble that can burn you down. I find it a little bit funny how we have completely shifted away from the Fearless draft. Right now, every team will be able to play the same champion again if it falls into their hands. However, it's so important to mention that it doesn't matter whether they fit the comp or not. Jax, Draven, and Ziggs, and has been banned out completely right there, as well as YSKM.
So Tristana Brand comes through for IG. We'll see if the Corki is going to be the answer for Ultra Prime. It's not been banned. The question will be, what jungler do you then want to take? Because the Zyra's gone, the Karthus is gone, the Brand is gone, but instead, Niket goes for the Braum to set up for Doggo being safe down in that bottom side, and then the Corki locked in. So I wonder what jungle they're thinking about here, because IG now have a great opportunity to just ban away the rest of the AP junglers.
I think Maokai could be something that Hacker could be looking into. Yes, not necessarily the carry AP that you would be looking for in the jungle. However, going more towards the Leandris build, especially when IG could be building towards a very, very squishy team. Those seeds could be doing a lot of work. YSKM, you mentioned it, Camille rising up, locked in. Now, we don't know if this is going to be Vampire or YSKM. It does look like a YSKM pick, but it could very easily be flexing to the bot side.
The amount YSKM was nodding on the stage as is locked in. You know he's slamming that one. Darius banned away from QingTian as well.
I don't know if you would want to play it into Braum either, so it's most likely going to be a top side pick.
Definitely going into the pocket of YSKM there. Denies one of the big counters in that. Darius, that also happens to be a pocket pick for QingTian. And I will say, I'm looking at this draft from Ultra Prime. There's a lot of poke there. And I was thinking about, you know, what junglers are available. You talked about the Maokai already. Things like the Sejuani potentially. You could go with a melee top lane. The thing is, I think we're going to see an Italy from Hacker. I think we're going to see an attempted full poke composition. Yeah, QingTian was laughing. I wonder what he's got.
Let me tell you, a tale as old as time. YSKM picked Fiora the last time these two top laners met, which was literally like a week and a half ago. And Fiora is a really, really good pick into the later stages into Camille. Camille wins the early, but the Fiora gets to win the side lane. And reminder right here, it is up to that side lane to stabilize the map for both teams right here, as their mid jungles really rely on that to make their plays early on.
We'll see if he's willing to go for it. I don't think he's ever played it in his career. I'm just having a look through his stats, and I don't think there's a single Fiora game could take that skill matchup up in the top side.
No time like the present, Munch. No time like the present.
I mean, we're obviously going to hover the Rammus. Doggo just referencing that one absolutely abhorrent game from last year. I can't remember the last Ultra Prime draft I saw where they didn't hover the Rammus for at least a bit. It's going to be that Gnar. We talked about this being comfort for QingTian way back in the day on top esports. It's back in the meta once more, so he goes for it once again. Kindred coming through. This is a lot of AD on the side of Ultra Prime. They have no AP threat right now.
I wouldn't mind seeing something like the Maokai being locked in right here. Again, a little bit more AP. The seeds are hurting. There is not necessarily a heavy tank on the side of IG, and you are looking for your carry down the bot lane. So the team is going to be extremely squishy. It is going to be the Sejuani in the end. However, I'm looking at the Gnar pick, and traditionally you would pick the Camille into the Gnar because mid-Gnar form is very susceptible to taking very heavy trades against him, especially when you're playing that Camille. So QingTian feeling extremely confident that he can play this matchup versus a very expert player on Camille.
I mean, he looked comfortable, didn't he? But let's see how that one's going to pan out. YSKM, famous for these kinds of high skill, high mechanical picks. We've seen his Camille before, and it's looked pretty damn good. So fully expect this to be a solid game. Believe it or not, his win rate on Camille in professional play is actually 50%. He's got 32 games. Part of that being that he's, generally speaking, not been on fantastic rosters, so you can never fully just take stock of win rates alone. But we know that he's very comfortable on the pick. Let's see how it's going to pan out. Let's talk compositions holistically, though, because we've got a lot of poke on the side of Ultra Prime. Whereas for the side of, on the side of IG, we've got a lot of poke. No, yeah, Ultra Prime, we've got a lot of poke. IG, a lot of all-in coming on through.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be all for one and one for all for the side of Ultra Prime, whilst for Invictus Gaming, it's all for themselves. They've got very good individual tools at diving into the backline and finding that one target to assassinate, especially having that Kai'Sa and the Camille combo. You can very easily just jump on one target and make them disappear. The question here is, that's a very BLGS comp with 4 carries. Can they make it work?
Only time will tell. It's about time we head into both of these teams' first series here in the Rumble stage. It's a rematch from Group D. It's a rematch from those placement games. IG were the team that denied Ultra Prime Group Ascend. If they'd won that series, Ultra Prime would be in the upper group. Instead, they are here in Group Nirvana, and they are looking for revenge. Got to say, much stronger Gyos in the IG camp. Not that surprising. Ever since 2018, I don't know what it was about that year, but IG suddenly seemed to be very, very popular. And I will say, aren't even running the IG skin there on the Kai'Sa.
I was about to say, there's a hint on the rift.
Is YSKM running Ning's skin as well? Because there's an IG Camille and an IG Kai'Sa available to them. I hope that they're both running the IG skins. We'll have a look when the camera pans up towards YSKM.
I was about to say, we're talking about Doggo having played with Baolan before, and An is cosplaying. He's bringing out his inner Jakilov. However, there is a little bit of a joke. Remember last time Elk played the Kai'Sa? It's not going to be. It's not going to be
Come
the
on,
skin.
bro.
Last time Elk played the Kai'Sa, he did channel a little bit of his inner Jakilov on that skin. You know, the skin makes you do things, makes you play a bit more aggressive. However, here, I think An is going to have a lot of pressure in his hands to figure out how he wants to play this particular game. He gets heavily outranged by the likes of a Corki and an Ezreal later on in the team fights, and I feel like his job is going to be more likely diving into the backline together with YSKM, having the right target. They need to be very careful when to do this and how they're going to be enabling that Kai'Sa to dive into the backline, because there's a lot of peel on the side of Ultra Prime, and this is exactly what we talked about, by the way, on the Gnar being picked into the Camille and not the other way around. Camille used to be like the it pick into the Gnar because it can really punish the mini-Gnar form.
My favorite Gnar counter has always been that Yasuo. It's the hidden tech. Oh, Neny already flashes, doesn't have the W. That's first blood for Yuekai. Neny having a bit of a struggle in the mid lane.
Exceptionally good start from Ultra Prime. Hacker's gonna clear his entire top quadrant, takes the flash of the mid laner, gets a kill on his mid laner, 600 gold lead right now onto the Corki. And we mentioned how important that mid-jungle duo has always been for Ultra Prime. Now, of course, not in the hands of Hacker to carry this game, but giving a very good head start on Yuekai.
So, fantastic start for Ultra Prime. Yuekai already off to the races. And we said, like, Hacker and Yuekai, these are the main characters for Ultra Prime in their wins. These are the guys that have been able to take over the game. Hacker already starting strong. And I love it when you get a Sejuani in the draft and they're proactive early. You see some Sejuanis just farming up, waiting until level 6. You can gag from level 2. You can really get in those lanes, and Hacker knows it. Now, headed towards the bot side. And Niket and Doggo moving over as well. Potential for a 3v3 here as the Crab is going to go down to IG. A little bit late to the play. Are Ultra Prime really committing to this one? Vampire over the wall. Just a bit of damage. And now Neny going to get reinforcements from his own jungler as the bomb on Yuekai's head does get a bit of a trade back.
I love the more aggressive playstyle that we're seeing right here from Ultra Prime. That's exactly what brought their downfall. I feel like IG took the fight to them in the previous best of in the group stage when these two teams met. However, it is going to be in favor of IG right here, GLFS, with the double Scuttle Crab. And this is what you're expecting, right? When you've got a farming jungler on one side and a more of a ganking facilitating jungler from the sort of Ultra Prime. Every single time the ganking jungler shows on the map, you will lose something in return, especially when we're talking about such a fast-clearing jungler such as Brand. And it's a good thing for GLFS because he is looking to carry the game himself right here. He's one of the key carries.
An has been the guy we've talked about as being stable, being that stalwart AD carry, but steps up in the lane. Doggo and Niket delay the recalls to catch him unawares. Fantastic little bit of G's. That is some good play.
He was trying to scout to see if they had actually left the lane. However, you're face shaking into a brush that you have absolutely no vision into a Brom Ezreal. There's such easy follow-up if the Q hits from Niket or the passive even from the auto attack. And oh, Hacker.
Wait, he just Qs into the pit. He's like, wait a second, my bot lane have just reset. Why? Suddenly I'm alone. He's got to. That's the worst thing I've seen in weeks.
I'm kind of speechless right there. I think that was a very fast dragon from IG because they knew after they killing the bot lane, Ultra Prime's bot lane would have to back. Again, it comes back to how quickly Brand clears and how much damage this champion has in his base kit with just spells. He's got the ashes as well. He's really, really hurting any neutral objective right now. So the fact that they knew Ultra Prime had reset, that was a very cheeky, quick dragon. They wanted to sneak under IG. I feel like Hacker thought no one was gonna be there. There's no way these guys are just gonna take support and jungle and just do the dragon. That's exactly what IG did. Very clever move from them, and they grab a kill onto their Brand as well.
Yeah. As the pressure continues down in this bottom side, Vampire almost kicked out of lane. Doggo really utilizing this Ezreal pick to build pressure, and the combination of Ezreal and Braum, the speed at which you can get that stun going. Hacker at least does get one neutral objective uncontested. That's 3 grubs in the top side for Ultra Prime. And I will say, we talked about Doggo being a player that has made some early mistakes and perhaps just wants to play safe and not fall too far behind. He is well ahead in this game. 20 CS up as they're now getting plates. They got that kill onto Arn before as well. They are absolutely taking over the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and it's supposedly Kai'Sa countering Ezreal right there. She can take the 1v1. Her ultimate is so useful here because every time Ezreal will stop to channel his ultimate, you can dive straight into the backline, which means you don't get hit by it. So there's a bunch of spells that actually counter what Ezreal wants to do. You can play within the wave as well with Kai'Sa, and of course Ezreal cannot hit you with his Q, which is the most damage output that he puts out of all his abilities. However, An losing both of his summoners right here, every single time a Q lands, every single time Niket steps forward, it becomes a little bit dangerous for such a short-range AD carry. Neny, it's gonna fancy a little bit of trade. However, every single lane for Ultra Prime has been pushing.
Certainly has been. Hacker is loving it. That's going to be another plate, solo plate there for Doggo, as he'll get his reset off. And honestly, he might. Dare I say, has he finished a Triforce already? Probably not quite finishing it because of the tier as well. I think he'll just be on components here. But he's getting damn close. He's getting real strong at that Ezreal. Maybe able to pick up boots depending on his runes. There you go, yeah. Ionian boots and a longsword on top. Doggo is really taking over this game. Yuekai on a similar lead in the mid lane as well. IG, though, want to make something happen. GLFS moving towards that mid lane, but both him and Vampire are spotted on the plethora of wards.
And Ultra Prime must be feeling very confident, especially moving into that late game. However, the damage output is not as easy as it is for IG. The execution, though, is much easier. And talking about execution, that's a 3v2 in the bot side.
Certainly is, and Hacker's got ult. Vampire caught up immediately. He's got flash, but I don't think he'll get any chance to use that. Doggo with another kill, and they're quite happy with just the one. They'll shove that wave in. Fantastic.
I love the fact that they went for Vampire there as well. Has the flash, doesn't even have to burn it. He knew he was dead to rights. Now underneath the tower. And you see how oppressive this Braum Ezreal lane can be. Again, I want to reiterate, there's no more fearless right here. Once you take a champion, you can re-pick it. We've gone back to the old format of picks. So Doggo looking that scary right here with Ezreal. IG have to start thinking about the champion. It has been rising a lot in popularity, and even though it's not the fastest of wave clearers, he's pretty good at skirmishes.
He's going to go for Vampire again. Magnet Storm, Doggo trying to get away, but Arn is untouched in this fight. This could be a double kill for Arn, but suddenly the stun is stacking up. Arn, no, the Q goes wide. No, Arn wasn't stunned in time, and suddenly Arn's back on top of the play again. Hacker moving down to try and turn things, jump straight onto Vampire. There's one, and now stacking the stun onto Arn as well. Niket desperately trying to get over to his jungler, and Arn forced a flash at the end.
Just about. And gets out there, and they're diving QingTian to the top side.
I don't know if he gets out of this one alive. Hextech Ultimatum makes it difficult. The burn ticking down. Oh, he does Mega! And he survives. Yuekai chasing as well. Yuekai saves the day, and QingTian, he's angry.
We have so much action on the reef. Bot lane taking the 2 versus 2. Ann and Vampire coming out on top of that, and IG making a play towards the top side of the map where they do have the numbers advantage. Whilst that resulted in Neny pushing that mid lane tower, grabbing a tower plating for himself as well, and grabbing a kill, as well as saving his cleanse right here. And I feel like it's very important to get some gold back onto this Kai'Sa. Doggo has been farming a Storm, taking all those tower platings towards the bot side of the map. So very good stuff right there from IG. Extremely proactive onto the map. Bot lane play instantly onto top side play.
Oh, Hacker has ultimate. And he jumps, still has flash, so not going to pull the trigger. GLFS moving into the bottom side now. Doggo just going to arcane shift over the wall. Will keep himself safe. Drake is up, and that is exactly what IG are looking towards. They've already got one on the board for themselves. They'd love to turn it into a second, but not confident enough to just start it up.
Yeah, I don't think Ultra Prime have any business walking into this river. Yuekai, very low on mana, has not reset yet. It would be really hard to take this fight. Plus, if you look on the top side of the map, QingTian doesn't have his TP up and available. However, YSKM, if he wanted to join this fight and make it into numbers advantage for IG, he very well could.
Yeah, TP, like you say, available for YSKM. Ultra Prime start the Drake.
Oh, he's going back to base.
They back away. Instead, move up towards this mid lane. Yuekai gonna just force Prio there, clear the wave away, and then perhaps move back towards this Drake once again. YSKM still up in that top side as Ultra Prime really undecided. They're losing a wave to the tower bot for this, by the way, while they just back and forth between the lanes. Doggo was moving towards the mid lane, but now he's changed his mind, and he was moving bot, but now he's changed his mind and he's recalling it. It's just going to be the whole wave gone in the bottom side.
Yeah, and I feel like these are the inconsistencies that we see here from Ultra Prime. You can clearly not take that trade. You do not have TP with your Corki. You do not have mana on your Corki. You could not be taking any fights in the river. However, there was a bunch of back and forth. They were pulling the dragon, they were stopping the dragon. They could have done much earlier what they're doing right now. Hacker just trades the Rift Herald for the dragon. And I know this is going to be the second dragon for IG. However, we mentioned again how Ultra Prime have a lot of ease in execution when it comes to those team fights. So when the third dragon comes up for IG and you do have the items, because Doggo has been getting ahead onto this Ezreal, you could very easily force a fight around this. However, these inconsistencies and these indecisions are what have put them behind in games.
Hacker moves up to the top side now. YSKM needs to have a good wall dive, but in fact, he's just stunned immediately. Hextech Ultimatum to buy time, and he actually dives onto the wall. He gets out. Yuekai doesn't tank another shot, gets away with his life. QingTian about to turn Mega, so I'm not sure IG can chase for this one. But hey, they got YSKM out. That's the main objective.
Great roam right there for Vampire to be on the top side of the map. YSKM cold-blooded, and now QingTian is left all alone.
He stayed just a little bit too long trying to clear that wave, and now the Magnet Storm comes in. The damage is plentiful, and GLFS will grab his second kill of the game. He's already got that Leandries. This brand is really starting to speed up in pace.
See, here's the thing. Usually when you see in 13 minutes of gameplay a support towards the top side of the map, it is usually accompanied by an AD carry, especially when you cannot see the AD carry on the map. I feel like QingTian right there, a little bit too greedy for the wave, trying to push a little bit more forward, ends up getting punished. But then again, this is another kill that goes over to one of the carries of IG, and I want to reiterate, they have 4 of them. The damage output is going to be plentiful from the side of IG. One falls, another one will take over. And Ultra Prime are going to have to be extremely careful with overextending. Seeing the replay right here again, That was a great dive onto YSKM, hitting the ultimate right there from Hacker as well. They just do not have quite enough damage, and the Hextech ultimatum gives him enough invulnerability to get out of dodge until Vampire and GLFS make it over there. You'll see over in the gates as well, An is making his way over towards the top side of the map, and QingTian just stays to push in that wave. However, this is no longer your wave. This is no longer your turn towards the top side of the map. You do not have any teammates, and he ends up being punished.
Little bit greedy from QingTian on the backside of the play. 4-3, 2 Drakes for IG, 6 Grubs for Ultra Prime. They were able to get the second set of Grubs, while IG got that second Drake after the shenanigans earlier on. And so, as we enter the mid-game, the gold is not far away from even. When you look at individual characters as well, like, bit of a lead down bot for Doggo. That's the most extensive lead in the game. But then GLFS not far away from that in the jungle. QingTian actually building himself a bit of a lead up top as well. Was able to get a lot of plates on that Nard. Despite the death that we just saw, still been able to make this matchup work, which is good, because remember, he was the one counter-picking top.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look on the bot side of the map that you mentioned, Doggo was actually even with An. And this is a little bit weird, considering that Doggo has been bullying An the entire time underneath his tower. He's gone the entirety of the tower, and only when the tower fell,
oh, Yuekai,
did the gold lead skyrocket 700 gold. You guys are going to try to shove in that wave, and I feel like Neny should just...
Oh, hang on, Vampire's in trouble here. Stun gonna come on through, but the burn coming out across the whole team is like Grubs! As Arn finishes one, Hacker burning. And Ultra Prime's play turned back around onto them as Neny tries to defend the tower, but the minions finish the job. Now Herald in the mid lane. It'll be a tier 1 in the top side for Ultra Prime, but this will be at least a tier 1 in the mid lane. Perhaps they can get the full charge into the tier 2, in fact.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to take the charge right there with Vampire onto that Rift Herald, taking a big chunk of mid lane tier 2 as well. And IG, they're running on all cylinders again, forcing that play onto that mid lane, catching people overextended from Ultra Prime. I'd like to see what happened in the top side for Neny as well, because I feel like he waited a little bit too long. The tower ended up going down. We'll get the replay for mid lane again, and it's a play I feel like Ultra Prime initiated right here. Onto Vampire, and all eyes onto that Rel. They try to take him down. However, they just bundle up with the Brand ult, and it just absolutely decimates them.
It's literally just what happens when you group against Brand, right? That's literally the long and short of the fight. He's not far off Arylise as well. GLFS is extremely strong at this point in the game. He's not going to slow down anytime soon. 10 seconds until Drake comes up, and Ultra Prime with mid-prio can move in and try and get control, although Doggo, with the 6 Grubs, wants to get a hit onto the tower. Won't be able to stick around.
This time around, you have Ultra Prime gaining some power towards that mid lane. However, it becomes a little bit more and more difficult for them to get the push on that mid lane wave. They have lost their mid lane tier 1, which means that Doggo cannot step up on his own anymore to push out that wave. This is why you see Niket always shadowing him. You have Hacker even shadowing that side as well. And I feel like IG, yet again, have a pretty good setup onto these neutral objectives. It has been the name of the game for them. This is exactly how they beat Ultra Prime to their game. They got themselves into the neutral objectives first. They set down their vision. They were able to play their team fights just better than Ultra Prime, and it seems to be repeating here. Saying that,
Ultra Prime move in.
They're just gonna make a circle
Hang
around.
on, this is gonna be a scrap though. IG look like they want to fight for this on TP into the mid lane from YSKM. Dragon being burnt down. Ultra Prime at least need to grab that from themselves. Good stun onto GLFS, secures the Dragon. Vampire dives in, but he's gone too far on his own. True Shot Barrage hits too, and we've got a flank as well from QingTian on the top side. Unforced to flash away. YSKM in full retreat. Ultra Prime, they get a Drake and they're looking for more on top. Stuns come down. YSKM falls. And what looked like IG starting a fight turns into an Ultra Prime sweep.
The big question at the very beginning when draft ended was, this is a very BLG-esque comp. Every man for themselves on IG. 4 squishy carries and 1 engaged support. Can they make it work? And the answer from the last fight was absolutely not. It was a huge scrap. Everybody kept running in. You see Neny on the flank. Vampire goes in all alone. YSKM is nowhere to be seen. glfs doesn't have a pretty good target to bounce his ultimate off of. And then Ann dives in while Neny is fussing out. And the YSKM doesn't really have a target to jump on because Ann has already used his ultimate. And there was just so much miscoordination coming out from IG. We said from the get-go, they need to pick a target, and they have more than enough damage with the Camille and the Kai'Sa to assassinate that target. However, Ultra Prime, they stuck together as a unit, and they didn't let them do so.
Great bit of play from Ultra Prime. And unfortunately, I think as well, Vampire just going in just a smidge too early. Like, the Drake was going to go down no matter what. And YSKM wasn't quite there for the fight. Like, he kind of arrived just after the fight, just after Vampire had already gone down. So perhaps if they just waited another moment or two, maybe there was an angle alongside with that Camille. But regardless, we're now in a situation where it feels that Ultra Prime are the ones in control of the game. They've got those 6 grubs. And now grabbing a Drake, stopping that stacking for IG. Doggo does step up. Vampire tries to punish it. Pillar of Flame goes slightly wide as Pyroclasm across the whole team. Neny's in with the bomb as well. Doggo surely goes down. He explodes in the end, and Neny jumps back out. But the Mega Gnar from QingTian, and here comes Yuekai to clean up as well. YSKM though back on the other side. It's an absolute scrap in the mid lane, but Yuekai comes out on top.
And it's going to be 3-4-3, actually. 3-4-4 in favor of Ultra Prime. And they're going to be able to get that mid lane tier 1 as well as chunk down that mid lane tier 2. I was pretty sure that IG had this one in the bag. glfs with a massive combo into an ultimate that kept bouncing around so many times, and as you can see, glfs will flash here. Very great engage. Vampire hits all 3 members with his ultimate, and look at that ultimate, it just keeps bouncing. But Niket with the shield absorbs so much damage. And hold on,
we've not even got a real fight. I wanted to see the replay. No, surely not. Oh, the ult from QingTian as well. I nearly called him Neny there just because I'm so used to seeing Neny on the Gnar from a year or 2 ago. QingTian, the double ult, it wasn't even stuns, but it was just enough to finish 2 players off. And then Yuekai flying in to finish the job. Great bit of stuff from Ultra Prime. I mean, this is a close one. This is about as close as we could have hoped it would be. IG being tested now because the all-in strategy, even with a good start to the fight, even with Vampire finding multiple targets, even with the Pyroclasm bouncing around the team, and Neny getting that bomb off, it still was hard to finish the job. And a lot of that is down to this Braum from Niket.
and also a lot of the miscoordination, right? YSKM is not there to lock down a target so that Ann can jump in, and Vampire is getting these insane engages, but not everyone on IG seems to be on the same page. It feels like Neny's jumping way too late, glfs gets his full ult, but no one is there to assassinate because Ann is not quite in the right position, and Ultra Prime, quite arguably, they have the easier, again, to execute composition. They've got 2 tanks on their side, arguably maybe a 3rd one, you know, when you have a Mega Gnar that can also engage or disengage for you, and all 3 of their carries are insanely ahead, especially when we're looking at that Corki in the hands of Yuekai. 2.5 items, 2 items onto that Gnar as well. QingTian counterpicked himself on this top side, talking about him.
Oh, he's walked straight into GLFS. The stun doesn't quite land from GLFS, and the Mega Gnar will buy a little bit of time, but I'm not sure there's a way out of this one for QingTian. Pillar of Flame on top of a precision protocol. QingTian taken off for the map, and it's just as Drake is spawning as well.
Does that count as a caster curse?
I don't know if you can cast a curse, but it's something that the player is doing for the whole split. I feel like that might be the player cursing it at that point.
All right, Hacker, this time around, he knows that there are enemy players in the pit. He's not going to even attempt to get anywhere near. Instead, he's going to head towards the top of the map, set down some vision around this Baron pit, take down all control wards from the side of IG, and try to establish some control for Ultra Prime. This is the next neutral objective that will be out and about on the Rift for quite a while, until at least the next dragon comes up, which is going to be Soul for IG. You know that definitely Ultra Prime will want to fight around that. However, every single time Ultra Prime have found that target, IG do not seem capable of fighting them at an even footing on a 5 versus 5. So as long as Ultra Prime bundle up as 5 or as 4 and force their way forward, I don't think IG have any answers to that.
Prime can continue to maintain this vision dominance. Get Sweeper on cooldown, but he's got a pink ward for the brush. So absolutely no vision here. And then the Scuttle Crab on top will guarantee that for Ultra Prime. There's that one blue trinket in the back of the Baron Pit, but aside from that, resets though for Ultra Prime will give a small opportunity for IG to get some vision in that Baron Pit, but it's feeling more and more difficult. Ever since that mid-tier 2 went down for Ultra Prime, it's become so difficult for IG to contest for vision.
Again, these mid lane towers give so much vision to your team. It cannot be underestimated, especially when you lose them. And if you've got such short range carries like the Kai'Sa, like the Brand, it becomes very difficult to sort of establish a little bit more of control unless you bundle up with other teammates. And let's not forget 3 items now complete for Yuekai. 2,000 gold up onto Neny's Tristana. He's going to absolutely wrecking through those bars. However, they're just TPing for the Baron.
Oh no, everyone's got bot side for Ultra Prime and IG. They're just going to take this in seconds. It's already gone before Ultra Prime even arrived on the scene. Baron taken. IG now in full retreat. Can they get away with their prize? Hacker has his ultimate. The Glacial Prison does land onto Vampire. He goes for the counter engage instead. Yuekai, big damage onto the backline with these rockets. Shrew barrage is in as well as Neny falls. IG lose 2, but they get the Baron.
They got 3 members with the Baron. That was a very quick, snappy call from IG. And again, these are the glimpses that we see from IG. The snappy call on the Dragon earlier on in the game to net them 3 Dragons so far. The snappy call to TP Neny from the bot side jungle onto that Baron pit to melt down that Baron so quickly. We've mentioned with this particular composition, you absolutely destroy neutral objectives. They see Hacker for a split second towards the bottom of the map. They call the Baron, and they get out with 3 members having that purple buff on them. So a very, very good call from the side of IG. Yes, they do sacrifice a couple of members here and there, but look at that. By the time Hacker hits this plant, that Baron is long gone. And sure, IG knew that on the chase, they were going to have to sacrifice 1 or 2 members, and one of them being the support. Who cares? They get out, and they have the pressure now with the buff.
I think Neny maybe could have survived as well. Looked like he was trying to follow up on Vampire's engage. I think maybe misunderstanding Vampire's objectives there. As YSKM now will be stunned up. Perhaps an opportunity. Hextech Ultimatum dodges the stun. And he gets himself out to safety. Nicely done there by YSKM. I have to say, though, IG, very snappy on these objectives. But Ultra Prime as well, like... I mean, everyone was in the top side. QingTian overextends and gives over a Drake to IG. And then everyone from Ultra Prime goes into the bottom side when there's no Drake up for like 3 minutes. And IG are like, oh, you want us to have Baron? Okay, thanks guys. Vampire out. Finds Niket in the jungle. IG just taking these objectives very comfortably. And I think Ultra Prime really misunderstanding the pressure that does exist.
Yeah, and I feel like we should be commending their willingness to go for these very quick plays, because a lot of the bottom of the table teams, this is what sort of defines them, right? Not making the right calls at the right moments, not necessarily punishing the windows that appear before them. And this is what differentiates a good team from a great team, from the top 4s and the top 5s over in the LPL, that if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And I feel like IG has been showing these small glimpses of, look, we can make those huge calls happen. And talking about calls, 20 seconds and it's going to be so for them. They do not have pressure or any side lane, however. Ultra Prime have made sure that mid lane wave has been pushed. QingTian is heading towards the top side to try and stop YSKM. Then instructs both top laners having that TP to join that potential fight for Soul for IG.
Oh,
And
YSKM's
the
on the flank.
TP is coming in.
YSKM is on such a deep flank. Yuekai spotted on a ward. YSKM not going to go for him, though. He wants Doggo instead. Hextech ultimatum, and Doggo eviscerated. Niket, the next target, as Neny jumps into the fight as well. Vampire doing his best to set it all up, and the rest of the team looking for a home run. Neny with a triple, and IG barrel down the mid lane.
What a fantastic flank TP from YSKM. You should know him for his Camille, because this is what he can do with one flank TP. One flank TP that can end the game.
Fantastic flank from YSKM. Fantastic bit of team play out from IG. We questioned whether the 4-carry comp could work for them, but with engages like that, the flank from YSKM, the ultimate from Vampire as well, it looked beautiful. And now they can move back into the jungle and take themselves a soul.
They didn't quite have the damage or the HP bars to pressure for that end right there. However, the soul is going to be so useful for them. The slow coming through is going to be huge. And oh my god, Doggo just melted. I don't think anyone else was on Doggo. It was just YSKM's Camille. And let's have a look at that replay again. Lovely TP in the backline right here, and they know Yuekai. I thought he was just gonna straight up go for Yuekai because he is in the backline. However, he finds Doggo, takes his cleanse, and just absolutely annihilates them together with GLFS. And honestly, I really want to give props to GLFS, because coming into this series, we said, hey, Hacker was going to be the one playing those AP carries in the jungle. They've been suiting Ultra Prime so much. GLFS is coming with the brand 5-0 and 7, started very early on with a double Scuttle Crab. He has farmed a Storm. He has been there almost for every single skirmish and fight for IG, and he has been their primary carry for every single one of these fights without dying once on a champion that is extremely short range and very susceptible to going down into things like Gnar jumping in your backline, and Zuan catching you with an ultimate. So mega props to the IG jungler right here. He's been having a phenomenal game.
Yeah, he has. Him and YSKM both, I think, are in the MVP candidate column. I think GLFS winning it out for now is a nice ultimate, hits onto him, but that's all she wrote for Hacker. Is now Vampire dives in, and YSKM joins Arn onto the backline. Suddenly Ultra Prime's engaged, his flip back onto them. Arn has to turn golden. He went a little bit further than the rest of the team, but it will not matter. Neny there to finish the job, knocks Yuekai towards the low health bars. That was a little bit dicey, Neny, but at the end of the day, it's still 5-0, and it's still IG ending the game.
IG with another incredible fight right there. Hacker overreaches, cannot get the job done. No one was there for the damage. You know who was? The entirety of IG, and Ultra Prime are getting glimpses, baby. They're getting deja vu.
IG 2-0'd Ultra Prime in Group D to finish the job and push them into Group Nirvana. And now down in Group Nirvana, IG look to do the same once more.
And this could be the start of something incredible for IG. Ending the group stage with a very convincing 2-0 victory over Ultra Prime into, I don't necessarily want to say a very convincing win here, but it was slow and it was steady, and they knew exactly how they wanted to play the fights. Did they fumble one or two? Yes. But after that one, they figured exactly how they wanted to play the game in a type of composition that you wouldn't expect the lower table teams to be able to execute on by IG. I feel like I'm loving seeing them on these kinds of compositions. The 4 carries seem to suit them so much. And once they were able to click together on those team fights, it looked beautiful.
It certainly did. IG, fantastic little game from them, and a fun one to watch as well. Those fights were chaotic but exciting. We're going to jump into a break, and then Ultra Prime, I mean, the whole world against them at this point. They've got to try and find a way back in. We'll see if they can.